Welcome back to the Get to Know Me show. Welcome back to the Get to Know Me show. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our special guest, Zilfa Irakoze. Zilfa, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so how are you doing in this quarantine? How is life?
You know what? I wish it was only quarantine, but when it goes with the commemoration and everything, it gets kind of harder. But hey, we're surviving, we're thriving.
Yeah. So thank you for agreeing to be on our show and to talk about a really crucial topic, concerning our country. So, Zilfa, how would you say, for people who don't know where Rwanda is right now, what would you say Rwanda looks like right now?
I would say that Rwanda is absolutely amazing today, and that includes, everything that we've been achieving. So when it comes to if somebody was to ask me right now what Rwanda looks like, Rwanda today looks like a shining star. It's a sign of hope. It's where the sign and absolutely the substance of hope, of surviving, of thriving, we're achieving, we've come from a very dark place.
Yeah.
And we're at a place today that I would say I'm very proud to be from. Rwanda is a very united place. We don't have all the drama with, being separated. A very united place where people are actually working hands in hands, to be able to actually achieve things that we had in mind, before everything went kind of south.
Yeah, Zilfa, Rwanda is literally, the most clean, the safest country I know, in Africa. But what would you say got us there, after 1994 genocide against the Tutsi? What happened after that, and how did we actually come to get to that point?
Yeah, I would say it was a lot of hard work, but if I was to start with how it actually happened, Rwanda had to take a step back from what the colonies had met us. We had to kind of rise beyond the differences that we had amongst us. And I would say starting with the reconciliation, right after the genocide, when we had President Kagame ruling, Gacaca was a thing. And that's something that, where the people that had done the genocide had served their time, they had kind of I wouldn't say necessarily paid their debt, but they had served their time, and that was a beginning to actually have people heal. It was a step to actually have people realize that what they had done was wrong, and for the survivors to actually kind of feel like the blood of ours were not necessarily spilled in vain. So starting with that small part, I mean, it's not really small, it's that part of people serving their sentence was kind of the beginning of the conversation. So we have people serving their sentence, we have other people that are actually healing. So after that, it went back to, I want to cut this into what the motto of Rwanda is, unity, work, and patriotism, After that, it literally went back to us reuniting, who we are. Ubunyarwanda was what really made us work even before the colonies arrived through Rwandese, and we had to regain humanity, we had to regain the understanding that we're all Rwandese. So, with them serving their sentence, we Rwandans came back to having these conversations, that started absolutely with the reconciliation part, but we started having the conversations of what really had happened, the people that had killed took responsibility and actually faced what they had done, so that conversation brought us to kind of forgiving, healing, understanding, feeling guilty for the people that had killed and everything. And with that came unity, with that came who we are, Rwandese. We are all Rwandese, we're all Rwandans, we're all one person. So rising above what had made us different and kind of went back to our root, who we were before we were separated, went back to we're all Rwandese, Then after that, we worked. There is no such a thing as actually achieving if you're not working. And our work, the results from our work literally speaks for themselves. We have Rwanda being the very first fast-growing economy in Africa, And we have Rwanda's like, there is so much that's happening. You know, we have a parliament full of women, like with a lot of women, and majority of the parliament is with women. And we have, you know, the cleanest city, like Kigali is the cleanest city in Africa. It's so many things that we've been able to achieve. You know, we have people that are actually healing and has healed. You know, we can call each other friends, we can call each other partners. We're working together, you know, so with the work came all the results that people see out here, you know, like. And then after that, it was patriotism, you know, like after we had built, after we had taken time to actually reconcile, like heal, and then we were one person and we had the unity, and we then started working, you know, and we have the results. But what do we do now? It's we're patriots. We're really working to make sure that everything that we have built does not necessarily get lost. You know, we're working towards a better Rwanda. We have so many dreams. There is so many dreams out there to be achieved, and that's what we're doing. We're absolutely having the country on our heart. That's a huge thing. When you're Rwandese, you absolutely are very patriotic, and we're trying to make sure that, you know, everything that we've achieved gets there, and always, and this is very important to me, make sure that what happened would never happen again, you know, and that we can assure it would never happen again by being united and work really together and being patriots.
Yeah, Zilfa, I think I want you to touch more on like us being Rwandans. You know, some people, you know, they may ask you, you know, do you still have those ethnic groups in Rwanda? You know, like what does that look like right now? And like if somebody was to ask you, you know, who are you? Like, because some people do ask you, like, are you this, are you that? You know, like, I want you to emphasize more on that point.
Honestly, going back, I kind of want to explain this in two ways, but I was nothing in the first place. Not nothing like that, you know, but like in the first place, when somebody was called Hutu, Twa, and Tutsi, it was nothing to be ashamed of. It wasn't meant to separate people, you know. So, like I said again, we went back to the pre-colonial part. I'm not saying we went back to the pre-colonial part, but like in terms of like Rwandese unity and stuff, we kind of went back to before the colonies came back and kind of ruined what the country was. And I am Rwandese, honestly. That's what I know. You know, there is rich people, there is poor people, there is farmers, there is all that, but there is no such a thing as Hutu, Twa, and Tutsi, you know. We're all the same. We're all Rwandese. You know, humanity is what truly matters today for us.
As a woman who is yet to graduate soon, like, what do you feel like is your main contribution, you know, moving forward?
Me as a person, I guess I'm like a very leadership person, you know, and I think one of the things that really helped us, you know, through this whole time, that helped Rwanda, you know, to actually get to a place where it is right now is good governance, you know, good leadership, people who actually have a vision. And I like to reference myself and like the youth today as not the future of Rwanda, but honestly the today Rwanda, you know, like it's conversations like this. It's me representing my country where I am, you know, having my country at heart and actually explaining to the people that don't necessarily know what Rwanda is, help them understand who I am. Also like really work, you know, together. And I think this is not just me as a person. I think my contribution is not just representing the country, but also like, you know, like using my skills in my country, you know, like going back and actually help out in one way or another, you know, like in different industries. And I think that's a big thing with the youth. Like make sure every single day when you're like walking, sleeping, talking, like you kind of have your one, and especially I'm a diaspora person, and you know, like for us it's even more important, but this applies to the whole youth, you know. Think about your country, think about all the achievements that you want to be, you know, to be taken on. Like make sure that, you know, like you're always fighting against the genocide deniers, because if we don't remember where we came from, we can never know where we're going. So it's very important for us, the youth especially, to use our, you know, there is social media, you know, there is my ability to write. I went to school, like it's not every single of my parents, you know, not all the parents had the, you know, the lucky, like the lack of actually going to school. So I did. I was blessed to go to school and all. So it's important that we use our skills, you know, we use our talents to actually be able to rebuild a country in whatever way you're going to be. So as a person, get into those leadership roles and make sure that you're not going back, but you're driving people forward, you know, keeping in mind what we stand for, working together, being Rwandans, and actually working real hard to be able to, like, you know, elevate each other at all angles. And I think that would be my contribution as a youth, to make sure Rwanda's economy is Rwanda as a country is going forward, and also make sure that never again becomes a reality.
So, like, if I could take it back a little bit, I want to ask you about your college experience, like as a diaspora and as someone who is graduating soon. Tell me a little bit about your college experience, and maybe one of the biggest takeaways you would just like give to someone who is studying the college right now, you know. What would you say?
Honestly, what would I say? I think college has been a blast, honestly. It's had its lows and highs. It's had its problems and, you know, moments of joy and all. But I would say, if I was to tell somebody that's starting college, and it really doesn't matter where, but like if you're starting college in America, be ready for the culture shock. Culture shock is a thing, it's real, but get help. You need help. It's okay to like not always be on point, okay to not always have it together. Get help if you need help, you know, be out there, reach out, get the resources, all the resources that you need to help you, and, you know, be strong, be confident, like you really got this. You have to actually remember that you really do got this. And I was just literally thinking when you say that, and this applies to like not just me as a person, but this is something that I learned, and that's very important. That's really has served me through this time of even like commemoration itself, but also helped me within the process of college. And I think it's through uncertain times that we have the best stories to tell. It's not always going to be like the best stories to tell, but through uncertain times, when I don't see what necessarily the future holds, when I don't see what necessarily is going to happen for me tomorrow, it's when I keep that in mind, it's like, oh God, I'm like making memories. I will be able to tell that this is like, look at Rwanda today. We have a story to tell because we've been through it. We've been through the dark place, and today we've risen and we have a story to tell. Not necessarily the best, but after that we have the best stories to tell, you know, because we've worked through it and we're amazing today. And I think, remember that every single time you're hitting like a problem, like every single time you feel like you hit rock bottom, remember that you will have the best memories after that. You have a story to tell. You're living, you know. If you were not living, because honestly, if you were not living, then you probably not have problems.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
If you're not getting knocked down, you're not working hard enough.
So like guys, like this is coming from somebody that I know that works so hard. So you better take this advice. So Zilfa, it was so much fun, and it was a blast having you. Do you have one thing you want to share?
I would say after all this uncertain time, I mean, I would have said visit Rwanda, but you know, with the epidemic going on, I would say visit Rwanda soon. So as soon as like, you know, this whole thing is done, really make sure like it will be an unforgettable experience for you. You know, not only do we have the best touristic places that you can visit, but we also have a very rich history for you to be able to learn from. So, I'd say visit Rwanda soon.
Definitely. See you in Rwanda sometime. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your friends if you like the content. And stay tuned to our next episodes. Bye.
You check out, like, share, and subscribe the Get to Know Me show on Jan's YouTube picture.
The Jan's picture.